So it's really good to have everybody here, and thank you so much for taking the time out on a Friday evening, morning, whatever is going on in your time zones. I hope social lingua turns out to be something that's really useful for you in your professional and personal life. It's so nice to hear everybody's motivations to learn the language. It was really insightful, and we will try and like cater the conversations that we have going forward, keeping in mind all of your motivations. We have Kat and Adriana who are helping us with German, and they are the rock stars of this entire exercise. When we first thought of social lingua, it was going to be like a bunch of us coming together with some friends and learning a few languages, and now it's turned into 4 languages, around 180 people interested. I'm not sure how many people would actually learn a language, but I'm really hoping at least like a few of us, like at least 10 of us, learn a language from each one of us. It's going to be amazing. So let's do this, and let's kick off the first ever webinar on social lingua. Thank you so much, Catherine and Adriana, to help us out.
Our pleasure. So I'm going to share the screen now. Let's see, does everybody see the... Okay.
Yep.
So basically, we're going to go through a couple of things here. At a certain point, this is just going to be sort of an introduction to resources that you all can have access to for free. That would be really helpful to your language learning experience, regardless what level you're at right now. And then after we go through that, we're going to start talking about sort of the basics of the language and some pronunciation basics. So if any of you guys feel like you're at a level where that doesn't speak to you, feel free to just peace out, and we'll see you guys at a different Socialingua event. We have a couple of things planned for the next couple of weeks, including conversation sessions and sort of like voice exercises that we'll have within the group. So make sure to check your Telegram every once in a while to participate in some of the activities we have planned. So yeah, that's pretty much what we have on our agenda for the next couple of weeks. Let me just show you guys. So
maybe Kat, you could introduce yourself to tell where you're from, Germany, and yeah.
Good idea. So I'm Kat. I'm originally from the US, as you guys can probably tell from my accent. I came to Germany to study business and stayed here for a job and then another job. As you guys know, Germany's pretty well known for recent economic upturn and a really great job market. So I ended up staying here for a really long time. And I've been based in Frankfurt. So also not a native speaker. So I'd be very excited to help you all and to maybe help you guys avoid some of the pitfalls I had when I started learning the language. Adriana, do you want to go as well?
Okay, so I'm Adriana Silva. I'm from Chile. I'm not from a German family, but I started studying German when I was 2 years old. So I learned German before English. And I studied in high school, my entire school life. And I went to school exchange, student exchange in Germany too, close to Stuttgart. And then, to be honest, I didn't really speak German for like 15 years because, like Blake said, I didn't get the chance to practice it really much here in Chile. But then last year, I met this guy on Tinder who came from Germany. And I decided to get together with him to just practice my German. And we ended up being boyfriend and girlfriend. So now I get to practice my German every day. And I think it's getting even better than my English. So I'm here to help Kat and hopefully try to help you guys with the pronunciation and vocabulary and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so for everybody who's getting back into the language, there are a couple of websites and online tools that are really helpful. For instance, Lingui and Leo are two online German dictionaries that are German-Spanish, German-English, German-French, I believe as well. that are really helpful if there are lots and lots and lots of words and combinations of words in the German language. So if you ever have any doubts, just go into there. And you'll find everything you need.
What does the headline mean on this slide?
Excuse me?
What does the headline mean on this slide?
So hilfreiche links. So hilfreich is helpful, and then links, something we'll talk about later. German's very reliant on English words as well. So you end up like mixing a lot of the two. So yeah, so hilfreiche links, and yeah. But okay, and then there's DeepL, which is like a sort of like a Google Translate, but more effective, I would say, and also in multiple languages. If anybody ever needs to write an email and are not sure about the context or how they want to express something, DeepL is something my boss at my old company always used for English. So super helpful. And then there's Deutsche Welle. Also something that you guys might want to check out, because depending on what level you're at right now, maybe you say, okay, you guys are going too slow, you're going too fast, we need more resources, we want to practice outside of these activities. There are free course materials here for A1 to B2 level that everybody has access to, also from your smartphone. And also lots of different programming, like little radio recordings that are in simple German language if you ever want to practice or just listen to something for a couple minutes every day. And of course, for like the more advanced speakers, if you really want to learn German for business, you can always check out some German language newspapers online, which are also for free. That at the beginning, I wouldn't recommend. It can be a little bit discouraging because, like I said, German words can be like very long, very complicated, a little bit scary. So maybe that's more for the advanced speakers in the group. And also a couple of recommendations we would have if you guys want to start brushing up on your German or learning would be to listen and watch as much German television as you can, which is quite easy nowadays with Netflix. I know Ishita told me that she's a big fan of Dark on Netflix. It's sort of this German sci-fi show that you can watch with English subtitles and sort of gives you a feeling of how German is spoken and how to pronounce things. And maybe after a while, you can start recognizing a couple words here and there. So yeah, also depending on your level, subtitles or no subtitles, but these are just a couple of the classic German TV shows that I think a lot of people also culturally talk about a lot. For instance, Tatort is like the German CSI. It's like this crime show that is on Sundays. It's such a huge thing here. There are bars here that show Tatort every Sunday. So you can, if you're alone, like for instance, I knew a couple of people who moved to big cities and they were looking to meet people, and the first thing they did was look for like a Tatort bar so they could just like find that like comfort of watching this show on a Sunday evening. Then there's Stromberg, which is sort of like the UK or US Office. And yeah, Babylon Berlin is also really, supposedly I've heard great reviews from it. And Goodbye Lenin and Rent Lola Rent are also two classic movies that I think everybody should watch if they have the chance. And then of course you have the Die Heute Show, which is sort of a political satire. If anybody here is more interested in like political humor, also a little bit more advanced language, but could be quite fun to watch. And all of these, like I said, I think are available online on different German channels. Not sure if all of them are available with subtitles, but definitely the Netflix ones do. And I wouldn't put it past Amazon Prime to also have them. So it just depends on your region to like check out where you could find them. And then of course we have music, which is personally one of my favorite ways to get introduced to a culture and to listen to some really cool jams. For instance, I don't know if you guys know Helena Fischer. It's a very huge German folk icon here. I think almost everyone, well, everybody in the first point here sort of belongs to the German folk genre, something that you would often hear at local festivals or Oktoberfest, quite cheesy but very poppy stuff. Then of course you have more heavy metal like Rammstein, Die Toten Hosen und Revolverhead if you're more interested in that direction. Then you have like more R&B stuff, which also gets super, super interesting because like you think German sounds aggressive when you're speaking normally, like try listening to a rap version of a German song. It gets like, it's quite cool. I would especially like Peter Fox is one of my favorites, I would say. I got really into his albums when I was a teenager. And then you have like the bottom two are like more poppy stuff. Clouseau and Namika are like more recent pop superstars here in Germany that have more recent hits that are really catchy. And then you have like Die Fanta 4 and Falco and Nena, which are more like post-reunification, sort of like 90s hits that are very, also very good, I would say. So, and like I said, if you have the chance and you say, I don't really have a lot of time because I'm still working, but I want to sort of get back into German, I think this is a really easy, relaxing way to do it, like through TV or music. And really helps with pronunciation as well, to just sort of parrot what you hear. So moving more into the grammar part of the of the talk today. German is a really unique language. It's part of the West Germanic languages, so similar to English and Dutch. But you have to really be careful because a lot of times you'll have, or you're probably going to hear words that are very similar to English, but have completely different meanings. And it's very easy to fall into miscommunication with a German speaker. I have many times. For instance, the word gift, like a gift in English would be like a present that you would give somebody, while gift in German is poison. So not something you would want to give somebody else, and definitely not something to bring up in like common conversation or to bring to a birthday party or something. Or for instance, even things, I remember sometimes it's really easy when you're learning to get a little bit, I used to get super lazy with words. If I didn't know a word, I just think, okay, I've heard something that sounds similar to the English version, so that's probably it. Which ended up like, it was a very embarrassing moment when I was 18 that I was working, I had a part-time job working code check, and I mistook somebody's briefcase for, he had a briefcase that he wanted to check in. I said, oh, can I have your Briefkästen? Which is, can I have your mailbox? And he looked at me like I don't know, it was very embarrassing. And like I said, just like very easy to fall into the trap. Just be careful. Because Denglish is wonderful, but it's also very dangerous. There's also, like many other languages, formal and informal modes of address. Make sure when you meet somebody in Germany or you meet a German, maybe not in our generation, but someone who's older, make sure you double check if they're okay, if they to go to like the informal version of talking. There are people who really have a specific preference for how they want to be addressed. That's what können wir uns duzen means. It's normally if you get to know somebody or a colleague and you feel quite comfortable with them, then you say, können wir uns duzen? It's, can we just move to the more casual form of address? And normally it's the older person who has to offer that to you. Sometimes that gets awkward in an office setting, because if you're with people who sort of are a similar age or who look very young, you'll just end up like waiting a really long time to offer it to the other person, because you don't want to offend them by thinking that they're older or younger. But yeah, that's also something to watch out for when you guys come to Germany. Then, like we mentioned before, there's German's also very well known for really long compound words. Like, actually, Adriana, can you pronounce this one? Because I'm
Streichholzschächtelchen.
it's the worst. All of the CHs, it's like you just get in your throat and it's like. But actually, does anybody know what Schadenfreude is?
Deriving pleasure from others' pain or misfortune.
Exactly. Also another beautiful, and it's derived from Schaden, which means damage or injury, and Freude, which is like happiness. So deriving pleasure from happiness. Or you have more simple ones like Handschuh. So you have your hand and you have like a shoe, and Handschuh is a glove. So you'll have that quite a lot. Or Torschusspanik. Does anybody know what Torschusspanik is? Also a very deep one. It's so Tor is a goal, Schuss is to shoot. So, well, Tor is like a sort of like a soccer goal, I would say. Schuss is to shoot, and Panik is panic. And it's a word that describes the feeling as you get older that time is going by and you're not achieving what you want to achieve, and sort of like this panicky feeling to achieve something really quickly before it's too late. So also really cool compound word.
Yeah,
I don't
prepared because
oh my god.
yeah, German has a word for everything.
For everything.
We're going deep here.
I know. Yeah. It's really, it's quite funny,
That
but
hit
so
close to
efficient.
home, to be honest.
And what I've found an amazing thing that in some cases makes it complicated, but later on makes it easier in German compared to learning other languages, is that very rarely do you reuse words. Do they have 5 different meanings in German?
Yeah.
You have a very precise thing to say for a situation, and that's it. Whereas like if you're learning, I mean, Spanish and English is, I found the words it's most pronounced, where it's just constantly there will be one word and you will use it for 5 different meanings that are completely different, and that's very rare in German.
Yeah, it's very much like that. So it's just such an efficient language. It's quite nice, and it's kind of actually hard, I think, sometimes to switch back to English after you speak German for a while, because it takes you so much longer to say something. It's yeah, it's interesting going back to the US and not being able to just be like, yeah, but there's this one word and why do I have to say it in like 15 words? This is, but yeah, definitely a lot of interesting vocabulary. Another thing for anybody who's just beginning with the language, Mark Twain had a really famous strange quote, which was, in German, a young woman has no sex, but a turnip does. So, which is true, because das Mädchen is, I mean, you have masculine, feminine, and Neutrum, and das Mädchen is Neutrum, and turnip, actually, I don't actually know what if turnip is der or die, probably die, not sure, but it's definitely not das. So it's, I think, an aspect of the language that makes it frustrating to learn, because you have to, when you learn vocabulary, it's not just feminine and masculine, you have a whole nother declination that you have to memorize. But after a while, it's not so bad. And if you forget it sometimes, happens a lot to me still, nobody really cares. So just important with like the very basic words to just remember if it's der, die, or das, so you know how to adjust it in a sentence. Then there is something that Adriana is going to go over later, which is the umlaut and the S-set. So you have like the basic English alphabet, as well as 3 extra vowels with an umlaut, and the S-set, which sounds like a long S, like. But we'll go over that later. Also, some other stuff that we're going to go into more detail later is writing nouns. You might notice when you see German written that all nouns are capitalized. Also, if you work with somebody who's German, it's quite funny because they also, when they're writing in English, it's very common that they will slip into writing all of the nouns in capital letters as well, or at least the first letter in capital letters. Something I was always telling my colleagues not to do, but I think it's just a habit. So interesting way to figure out if someone's a German speaker or not. And then adjectives and articles are adjusted within a sentence, whether it's the subject or the object of the sentence, or yeah, there's a very complicated conjugation process that you have to go through when you're writing something. But that's also something we'll go over later. So Adriana, you want to go over the alphabet now?
Yes. Okay, guys, let's go through the basics. If anyone has a question, just stop me. Okay. So this is the German alphabet, das Deutsche Alphabet. And like Kat said, there's 4 letters. They're different from the English alphabet. Okay, so you got the A with the 2 points. That's the A umlaut. You got the O with the 2 points. That's called the O umlaut. And the U with 2 points, which is called the U umlaut, O umlaut. And then you got the SZ that you can see next to the B, because it looks like a B, but it's actually an S, a longer S. So I will go once through it. If you want, you can say it with me out loud. And then I'm going to teach you a song. I know it's going to sound childish, but it helped me out to learn the alphabet when I was at school. Okay. So, okay, let's start. A, E, that's A umlaut. B, S, Z, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, Ö. I don't know if I said that right, sorry. Ö, P, Q, R, S, T, U, Ö, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Okay, so you know the regular ABC song. It's the same one for German, but without the umlauts and without the SZ. So it will be like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X und Y, Z, U, E. Das ist das ganze ABC. Okay, so let's go to the next one, Kat. So we see the umlauts again. Okay, so these are the 3 umlauts letters. Okay, and we're gonna use some examples. For example, doctor, it's called Arzt. But if you say doctors, like the plural word for arts, it's Ärzte. So the A with umlaut, it's E, Ärzte. Okay, Arzt, Ärzte. Then you got this word Horn. This is, you know. And the plural word is Hörner. Okay, horn, Hörner. Then you get the word fordern, that I think that's a demand, right, Kat? Demand?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah,
the plural
anfordern.
word, yeah, for a demand would be fördern. I don't know, Kat, maybe you should do this part because the and the are so hard.
It's like fordern and fördern, I think.
Fördern. Yeah.
Fördern.
I would say, because it's not my native language, that the O with the 2 points is the hardest one. You know, the A becomes an E, the U becomes a U, but the O, it's like really hard to to try to do it. And then the last word is Buch. Buch is a book, and the plural will be Bücher. Buch, Bücher. Okay. So use this to practice. And then let's go to the next one. Okay, so here are some tips that you can use for the language. I'll go through the hardest ones. Like I mentioned, the A umlaut, it's pronounced like like in get, you know, the second one. And then in German, you got this thing that when you have an A and a U together, it's pronounced au, like in how, au, okay? But when you get an A umlaut with a U together, it's pronounced oi, like toy, okay? So this is a lot of information for the first lesson, I know, but it's always good to have this next to you when you practice on you're studying German. Okay, so for example, when you have an E and an A together, it's pronounced I, like in buy. Or for example, the word X, you know, in German, it's Eier, and it's spelled E-I-E-R, Eier. Then, for example, when you have an I and an E together, it's pronounced like an I, but longer, you know, C. And yeah, and like Kat already said, this new word for you, the SZ, it looks like a B, but it's pronounced like a longer S, you know, like grass. Yeah. Yes, and someone asked if you're gonna get the slides. Yes, of course, we're gonna give this to you. Okay.
Hey, Adriana, Catherine, thank you. Danke schön für die Unterricht. But I have to go now, so please share the slides, and thank you again for preparing this. Bye.
Gerne geschehen. Ciao.
Ciao.
Tschüss.
How do you say bye in German?
Tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen oder ja, tschüss.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Wait, I write it down.
Okay, guys, it's telling me that I need to upgrade my Zoom. So you might have to all call in again if this expires.
Or how much of this is left? We could probably like address some of this in the next next webinar as well.
True.
Yes,
we have like a minute 30 left, so.
So I think this was a really good place to start off and have like an overview of the language and what to expect ahead. And I think Catherine has put in so much effort into this. We're so grateful. We'll be sharing these slides with you. We'll be sharing future webinar schedules with you. And I think this is a pretty good place to like stop this right now and take it forward next time.
Sounds good.
Great. That cat looks like me.